This is English shorthand dictation number 117 and the dictation speed is 140 words per minute. Ready? Start. Honorable Chairman Sir, I stand in support of the demands for grants of the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. We are making efforts for the upliftment of the backward people. The other day, an honorable member cited an incident in which just because a dog belonging to the family of a backward person barked at a youth of a high class, all the hutments belonging to the backward people were burnt down. This shows where we stand today. It shows the status of the backward people. It shows the status of the tribal people and the Dalits today in India. As far as my state of West Bengal is concerned, it has become famous for the starvation deaths in many areas. So, there has to be a strict monitoring and accountability again to know as to what is happening to the fund that is going to these places to take care of the tribal people. If these people were well fed and looked after, I am sure they would not suffer as they do today, and they would not be misled as they are being misled today. We recognize them for their primitive mindset. Article 366 of the Constitution of India refers to the scheduled tribes as those communities which are scheduled in accordance with Article 342 of the Constitution. The essential characteristics first laid down by the local committee state that these are people with indications of primitive tribes, distinctive cultures, shyness of contact with the community at large, geographical isolation, and backwardness. So, when we do realize that they have these traits, it becomes even more important for people like us to stand by them and not unleash state sponsored terrorism on them. There are areas where the ground level elections have not taken place for 20 years. This has given rise to resentment amongst the people. They are looking for their democratic right to franchise, their democratic right to fight the elections for self-governance. But this is not done, and that is the reason why they are up in arms. I think it is pertinent to put here that we should be taking their status in mind and looking after their democratic rights also. What is the difference between those people and us? Anthropologically, it is the same race, fusion of gametes resulting in the fellow type of human beings. Intellectually, it is the same brain. It is the same human being. The only difference is the social behavior which varies across regions. There are different customs, different cultural heritage, and different languages. If we can handle it carefully, we can have them brought to the mainstream. They are powerful people and they have risen against the state a number of times. They have risen against the oppression even during the pre-independence time. They are used to walking miles together with load on their heads through jungles. They run down hillsides which we cannot do. They carry wood. They carry water. Why can we not have them channelized into things like sports? Why can we not have them channelized into departments like defense? Why can we not adopt their culture as ours? Why can we not prompt their song and dance and give it to the world which is going to be impressed by them? We can teach the women their weaving. They are doing their own weaving in different parts of the country. Why can we not encourage them? Give them more allotment and engage these women for self-help. Why can we not, like the Dogra culture, encourage them for sculptures which can be sold? We know that the Incas are still being preserved. The totem poles are being sold all over the world. So our necessity would be to think for some reason, for some organization, for some setup, some autonomous body that can take care of their needs. So when we are trying to allot funds for their education, what is happening is that the teacher who is going to the village or the hilly area or the forest area is speaking the regional language. The child does not know the regional languages. The child does not understand what the teacher is saying, and the teacher does not understand what the child is saying. For this reason, the bridge was supposed to be formed for understanding the languages, but that has not been effective since 25% of the teachers are not performing their duties properly. The forest dwellers are protected by articles of the Constitution. The hill dwellers are also protected. Their rights have to be recognized. We are trying to help them through the schemes launched by the government. There has been the Janashala program of the Government of India along with 5 UN agencies. But we have seen that the dropout rate is very high. Where do these little children go? They either go to fetch water for the family because the family does not have drinking water facility, or they go to the forest to collect firewood for their meals to be cooked. So we have to look at their basic needs very carefully. Even after 65 years of independence, we have not been able to organize drinking water or potable water for them. Why can we not have an autonomous body which takes care of the drinking water facility for these backward people in our country? Is it not high time, with the global warming setting in, for the situation to improve? That is why their education, their drinking water facility, etc. have to be taken up very seriously and given importance. Their health facilities are completely lacking. They do not get food. I wonder how many of us sitting in this august house here have had the opportunity to taste chutney made of red ants. That is the food that these tribal people are taking in their homes because there is no food and water there. They are suffering from diseases and there is no means by which they can go to the doctors. So, if we take good care of them, they will also take good care of us. There are areas in many states of the country where starvation deaths are common. They cannot organize 2 square meals a day. The National Rural Health Mission is trying to do a lot for the people. I do think that these people need better care and we must organize healthcare facilities for them, their food, their education, and bring them to the mainstream so that they could lead a good life. Regarding how we can regain the confidence of the tribal people, although the tribal area is richest in mineral wealth and water resources, due to highest poverty amongst the tribes, it is leading to frustration, unrest in the tribals as there is no development. There should be a policy for effective implementation of developmental programs. Give them right to property, give them the assurance that they will not be displaced. Most of the catchment area is in the tribal area and the command area is in non-tribal area. Give them water for drinking and irrigation purpose and the tribal people will produce all for their livelihood except salt from their farm. I have seen that the tribal people are earning and producing everything on their own field. They should be given proper facility for irrigation. We should give good infrastructure facility for road, education and health in scheduled areas. The developmental grants allocated to the tribal areas should be non-lapsable and non-divertible to avoid Naxal activities. We should give posting of efficient officers in scheduled area with incentive. The posting should not be given as a punishment posting. There should be effective implementation of Forest Act in the tribal areas to build their houses and for agricultural purpose. While giving acres of forest land to the industrialists, we should think for the tribals also. There are about 200 forest villages in Gujarat only. The forest villages are to be converted to revenue villages in a time-bound manner. The above measures will regain the confidence of the tribe, and the tribal people will not go for the so-called Naxalite activities. So many points have been raised by my colleagues. The tribal population is about 10 crore, which is 8% of the total population of India. My humble request is that the financial allocation for the Ministry of Tribal Affairs is to be increased.